Hello, my name is Fatih Furkan Erkeç, and I will try to explain my divide and conquer homework. And ChatGPT asked me, you are given an array of integers, write a divide and conquer algorithm to find the maximum element in the array. The algorithm should have a time complexity of O log n, where n is the number of elements in the array. Feel free to outline the steps algorithm explain time complexity. And here I ask ChatGPT to, but shouldn't it be O n log n to be divide and conquer? And first the ChatGPT says, you are correct, but then I search on the internet. For example, bubble sort O n square, but with application of divide and conquer, its time complexity is O n log n. Linear search has time complexity O n, whereas binary search, an application of divide and conquer, reduces the time complexity to O log n. So it can be possible. ChatGPT said that in this part, and I say, so I can solve this and ask you to guide me whenever I need it. Then I write this part of my code and ask if it is true. This is the function find max. It takes input array low and high. If low and high is equal, then return array low. This is our base case. If there is only one element, it returns it. And mid equals low plus high divided by 2. This is for finding the midpoint. Then we define a left max and right max. These are recursive parts of this function. Left max is find max array low and mid, and right max is array mid plus 1 to high. This is for one is, for example, take this side, and other is mid plus 1. And end of the function return max is returns left max and right max, and ChatGPT says I'm on the right track, and I add this function for a sub function. Here is our example. In this example, I called max element function, and in the max element function, we call find max, and it sends the inputs to find max function to array 0 to low, array to array, and length of the array, length function, and array -1. This is the high. This is for the calculating and given needed variables to find max function. And when I sent the ChatGPT this code. Code provided looks good, he says, and you implement or testing this. You and yeah, he likes my code, and I add these lines an example array and print line 2 if it's work, and then when I run it, it's correctly find the 9. For example, I change it to 16 and run it, it found 16, so it's basically works fine. When I say can you debug my solution, he said can you change if low equals high base case to array low for array low and array high, but don't do any change. It's exactly same as mine code. So there's probably a mistake. I think my code complexity is O log n since it divides until the found biggest element. We just divide and search the element, so we just divide log n times 2 all the samples, all the elements size are 1, and we search inside of them 1 times, so it's a constant time. And then he said your time complexity is O(n), not O log n. Then I explain how I can find the O log n. The number of levels recursion is required, determined by how many times you can divide n by 2 until you reach 1. This takes log 2 n levels, where log 2 represents the logarithm base 2. At each level, you perform a constant amount of work, which includes calculating the midpoint index and comparing the maximums. So the work at each level is O1. Therefore, shouldn't be the total running time of the algorithm is Tn equals O1 times log n and O log n. Then ChatGPT accepts my answer and said this is correct. It's not on log n or on, it's O log n. So it's the basic part of my homework. And if we continue to medium practice question on divide and conquer, ChatGPT asks me write a Python function to implement the merge sort algorithm using a divide and conquer approach. Your function should take an unsorted list as input and return a sorted list. You can assume that the input list will only contain integers. Make sure to implement the divide and conquer strategy of breaking the list into smaller sublists, sorting them, and merge them to achieve the final sorted list. Here's a function gives me a merge sort function to write, and gives me a sample function, and should return this, and I write the merge sort function is a base case if the length of the array is 0 or 1, and that means the array is already sorted, there is nothing to sort, then it returns array. And divide the array in if it's not, uh, if array length is bigger than 1, then divide the array into two halves, divide and conquer, uh, as we see in the classroom, not classroom, but in the online learning system lesson. We find the middle index of the array by divide the length by 2 and make it mid, and left half is equal to start of left half, that means start to mid, and right half is array mid to end. So after that we recursively call the function in here, left half equals merge sort left half. We send recursively the left half to divide it to minimum element, and same as right half in here, merge the sorted halves using the merge function. We should we divided the array in this part, but we need to merge them, so the array is merged and sorted. So I sent this part to ChatGPT and said, this is my merge function, I will write another, this is my merge sort function, and I write another function to merge them. Am I good? Can you guide me without giving the false solution? It says your merge search function looks good, blah blah, and its answer is he gives me general steps for implementing the merge function. Create two pointers, one for each of the input list. We create two indexes here, two pointers, two indexes. We create a merged array to store the or our merged array elements, and compare the elements from left and right lists and add smaller element to merged lists. In this while loop, if left index and smaller length of the left and right index smaller than length of the right, we enter the loop, and if left index is smaller than right, I mean left array is smaller than right, we append the left array of left index of left array appended to merged array, and we increase the left index by 1. Else, if right is bigger, we append to right index of right array to merged array and increase the right index by 1. After the loop finishes, one of the list can still have remaining elements if there isn't even elements. Extend the merged lists with the remaining elements from both left and right lists. We extend the merged array by left index of left array to end and right index to end of right array and return the merged array. So after we after I write it, I send it to ChatGPT and it says your merge function looks well implemented and it follows the standard approach for merging to sorted list, and you can test merge sort function with some test cases. He gave me the test case. Sorry for catching, I'm a little bit ill. So I change it if it works correctly in any cases, and it is. But if we try with this input, it works very well in this input too. And I sent the whole code, and this is my final form of code. Can you debug my solution? It says your code appears to be well structured and follows the merge sort algorithm correctly. Your code should work expected, and please let me know. It says it's correct, and as we seen in the lecture, I said let Tn represent the running time of the merge sort algorithm on a list size of n. Tn equals to 2 times Tn over 2 plus On. First term, 2 times 2n represents the time to recursively sort 2 holes, each of size n over 2. This part we divide the array, and the second term on for the time to merge two sorted holes together. It's this function. Then merging two sorted lists of size n over 2 takes linear time because in the worst case you may need to compare and move every element from both halves. So according to master theorem, algorithm worst case complexity time is O(n) log n. Is it correct? And it says it's correct. This is the medium divide and conquer part of my homework. Thank you for listening. And when I asked the ChatGPT, can you give me a hard practice question? A given array of integers, and you need to find the maximum subarray sum using divide and conquer algorithm. In other words, you should find the contiguous subarray within the given array that has the largest sum. Write a function in your preferred programming language to solve. Keep in mind that the divide and conquer approach involves splitting the array into smaller subarrays, recursively finding the maximum subarray sum within each subarray. Then you need to combine the results to find the maximum subarray sum for the entire array. So it says in this array we should find such a subarray that contiguous. That means -1 could be combined with 2 or -2 or -5. That means like this or this or this or this, like that. We cannot take -1 and don't take these elements on, go and take it for, or for maximum we cannot take 2, 5, 7 and plus 3, 10, 12 and 16. We cannot do this. It should be contiguous. With that rules, I write the max subarray sum function and send it to ChatGPT. What does this function do? We have a base case which uh, return 0 if the array is empty, then maximum subarray is 0. Then another base case, if the array is only one element, then it returns that element. We calculate the midpoint of the array, len function of the array divided by 2. Then divide the array into left and right subarrays. L sub arr equals rr start to middle and right is array mid to end. And recursively we call the maximum subarray sum function for the left and right subarrays in here. We calculate the maximum subarray sum that crosses the midpoint with max crossing sum function. And when we call this function, before that the ChatGPT answer me, you are on the right track. You can follow these steps, and we correctly divided the problem into two main functions, and our max crossing sum function appears to be designed to find maximum subarray sum that crosses the midpoint of the array. That's function. And the difference between this code and this code, first I write like this, and ChatGPT says in your max subarray sum function you need to split the array into two parts and recursively find the maximum subarray sum in those parts. Be sure to handle the case where you have multiple recursive calls. After computing the maximum subarray sum in the left and right subarrays, you need to consider the case where the maximum subarray sum crosses midpoint. As you already doing in your max crossing sum function, you should then return the maximum of the three left subarray, right subarray, or the crossing subarray. Then I added these lines for the case like if there is such an array only have two elements, which is we suppose -1 and 2 for now. If there is no these elements in the array, we have an we have mistaken mistake mistake answers, and when we add these lines, we handle this problem because we find the max crossing sum in this function, but if the maximum value is uh, in one of the sub arrays, in let's assume it's on the max left sum array, we couldn't find it, so we solved this problem like that with these lines. After adding these lines, I asked ChatGPT, after your guide, I added pseudocode like this. Is that true? Can you guide me without giving the whole solution? Dividing the array is correct. Recursive calls is used, and max crossing sum is computed and return the maximum. We use the return max truly. That means if the maximum sub array is max left sum or max right sum or max crossing sum, which is the greatest, max functions select it and return it. So after that I write the whole code, which is in Python, and it says you have correctly handled base cases. Dividing array, the array is divided. Recursive calls is made. Max crossing sum function calculates maximum subarray sum that crosses the midpoint, which is essential in that algorithm, because if we have like that in the our example, we have the maximum maximum sub array sum is in somewhere middle in the array. It's not in the left side or right side, it's on the middle, and it should handle in the max crossing sum function. What it does, we define left sum equals the float negative in infinite, because when we work on an array that only negative elements, there is no positive elements, then we should if we have -1, it is the biggest sum in this uh, case, and we create a sum equals to 0. Then we create a loop, for loop, for e in range middle to -1, because the array starts from 0. Mid to -1 means middle to -1, and every step is -1. We add array I, ith index of array, to sum. Then we uh, we we make left sum equals uh, in max function left sum and sum, which means if our left sum is greater than sum, we keep the left sum, or our sum is greater, then we make left sum is equal to sum. In first step, it takes sum because every negative and positive number is greater than negative infinite. Then after first step, we look and select which is greater, then make that equal to left sum. Then we do it uh, same computations in right sum and same for loop, but one difference, we start from mid plus 1 and finish on the length of the array, and the default step size is 1. So we do it, we compute the left sum and right sum, maximum left sum and right sum, then return it, summarize them and return it. When we return the uh, answer, then our max sub array sum function returns in max function which value is maximum sub array sum. So if the value that comes from this function is maximum, then it returns that value, or if our max left sum is maximum, then it returns that value. So let's see in action. See its found 8, which is this sub array 5 plus minus 2 plus 2 plus 3. And if we take the other example like that, then it returns the max right sum. So our code works perfectly fine. And when ChatGPT debug my solution, he said mostly correct, and can you change these lines? But then I say, didn't I make it like this on my code? What's the difference when I do it like this? It says this line should be write like this and return max no crossing sum. Then ChatGPT says, I apologize for any confusion, you are correct. You didn't make it like that in your code. Your original code already includes the return max method, which is correctly calculates the maximum of the 3 potential maximum subarray sums. So after that, I calculate the time complexity, dividing the array in half, takes O1 time, constant time, and recursively calling max subarray sum for the left and right subarray of size n over 2 each, where n is the size of the input array. This can be expressed as Tn equals 2 times Tn over 2. Finding the maximum crossing subarray sum, max crossing sum takes linear time On because we iterate the function over the entire array once to compute it. So the time complexity function Tn equals 2 times Tn over 2 plus On. And with the help of the master theorem, 2 equals to 2 over 1, which is power of n. So our time complexity is On log n. Is it correct? Then he made some explains, and ChatGPT says uh, in our case A and B equals, so which means you are in case 2. However, you also need to check if fn is n over log b a, which is not true because fn is on and on is not uh, this expression, so the master theorem doesn't directly apply. The correct time complexity for your algorithm is indeed on log n as you initially stated, but it's derived by recurrence relation analysis rather than directly applying the master theorem. Your analysis is correct, but it doesn't strictly fall into the one or the three phases of the master theorem, it says. And this is the final part of divide and conquer questions. Thank you for listening.